At one point, this number was so close to $90,000, in excess of $89,000. We draw back somewhat after we see technical signs of overbought, if you're looking at the RSI. But overall, we're also just seeing maybe a pause in the realities that have been a more than 100% jump in Bitcoin so far this year, and a more than $3 trillion market capitalization of the ecosystem in and of itself when you're looking at digital assets. Sonali Basak is here for more, and boy, have we come far, and maybe just a bit of a pause here.
A bit of a pause. To your point, that $90,000 level is one to watch. I would say, Caroline, what is incredible is even those in the crypto community watched what was happening this week with awe, because it was such a stunning rise just yesterday alone. And you have to remember, since before the election, Bitcoin was trading at under $70,000. And so that rise to almost $90,000, if you bought one Bitcoin the day before the election, you're almost $20,000 richer for it. And you're seeing crypto-linked stocks also take a breather. But Coinbase, for example, take just their 8-day gain. It is 75%. So the run-up you've seen is just tremendous. And you have to also take a note how much news there still is to come. Typically, in a new administration, you would see an SEC chair, for example, step down quite swiftly. We don't know how Gary Gensler is going to behave in this scenario, but any new SEC chief under a Trump administration would really be very telling for the direction of the industry. There are laws that are waiting to be passed when it comes to stablecoin. There are questions about whether there will be a play out of the promise of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And later today, we'll be talking to Marathon as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that mining promise, this kind of made in America crypto story, and how possible that is and how quickly that could ramp up.
As and when it becomes the crypto capital, the United States at least. That's the promise. Sonali, there are people, though, in the meantime, making a whole lot of money. You just mentioned about how much you'd be up if you'd been long Bitcoin, but talk us through some of the billionaires doing well.
Yeah, think about Mike Novogratz alone, for example, and he is a few $1 billion richer just off the most recent rally. And it really is just wealth simply tied to crypto. The Winklevi as well, the Winklevoss twins, of course, have had a tremendous comeback story. And you think about not just the most recent comeback and how much they've gained in the most recent rally, but where they were just a couple of years before. The CEO of Binance as well, remember, he had retained his stake in the cryptocurrency exchange. And when we think about this as well, how are they making money? It's not just their holdings in Bitcoin, but of course the enterprises that they oversee and the variety of assets they hold in the crypto community. You are seeing here now not just the surge you've seen in Bitcoin alone, but things like Solana and Dogecoin, and then the exchanges, as we've talked about, that are owned by the likes of CZ when it comes to Binance, and Coinbase alone, and Brian Armstrong, a billionaire as well.